As we know, Russia is continuing its war in Ukraine, and the battle space has now gone hybrid. It's no longer just kinetic and cyber warfare. It's also information warfare, disinformation, propaganda and misinformation, all rolled into one. And this is happening in Europe, in the very heart of Europe. This raises some important questions. Are EU states prepared for this? Have they done enough to protect their systems from cyber attacks? And what about their physical infrastructure? How safe is it from attacks or sabotage? Has the war in Ukraine exposed the lack of preparedness? Hello and welcome. This is your host and you're watching this channel. Russia's war in Ukraine is not just a battle of bullets and bombs. It's also a war of narratives. The Kremlin has unleashed a massive disinformation campaign, targeting not just Ukraine, but also Europe and NATO. You have Russian agents posing as journalists, spreading fake news, hacking websites, social media accounts, and so-called deep fakes or fake news. The idea is to create confusion, sow discord, and destabilize European politics. We have been telling you about these cyber attacks. Let me refresh your memory. In January, the European Parliament was hit by a massive cyber attack. The IT systems were hacked. The Parliament described the attack as quote-unquote massive and sophisticated. There was also a malware attack on the Parliament's computer network. Their IT provider was targeted. The aim was to get access to the Parliament's internal system, the one used by lawmakers, their assistants and think tanks. All of them were locked out for several days. This was not just an IT attack. It was described as an attack on democracy itself, and there's no doubt that Russia was behind it. Then in February, the website of the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe was hacked. It's called OSCE. The website was defaced with pro-Russian messages. And let's not forget the ongoing war on social media. Pro-Russian bots and trolls are active on platforms like Twitter. They spread fake news, propaganda, and conspiracy theories. Now, all of this could be part of a larger plan. According to a new report, 24 European political parties have been identified as potential targets of Russian agents. This includes parties from across the political spectrum, from left to right, including the far right. The tactics being used are well known. Social engineering, that's one tactic. Agents posing as journalists or experts, getting in touch with politicians, think tanks and influential people, offering them a meeting, maybe over a drink or dinner. Once the deal is struck, another person turns up at the meeting instead of the original contact. This person is a plant, and he or she will feed the unsuspecting target disinformation or get them to agree to something that can be used against them later on. Such tactics are not new. They've been tried and tested over the years. What's more, they seem to be working. Just look at Italy. A disinformation campaign helped the far-right party win the most seats in the Italian parliament. The party is led by Giorgia Meloni. Her party won 46% of the seats in the Senate and 39% in the lower house. The victory speech had elements of Russian propaganda. Meloni talked about the need to curb immigration, protect national identity, and of course support the Russian cause. She called the war in Ukraine a quote-unquote faraway conflict. And it's not just far-right parties. Another far-right leader in Europe has welcomed Russia's war in Ukraine. That leader is France's Marine Le Pen. She congratulated Vladimir Putin for recognizing the independence of Donbass and Crimea. And after the war began, she slammed sanctions against Russia. So clearly Moscow's disinformation campaign is working. It is attracting far-right parties across Europe, and they could play spoil sport in the upcoming elections. What does this mean for the European Union? It means that external threats are now an internal security issue. Disinformation, propaganda, and fake news are weapons of war, and they can destabilize any country. Take, for instance, the recent case in Germany. A group of suspected Russian spies was caught near a liquefied natural gas terminal in northern Germany. 3 men were arrested, 16 others were asked to leave the country. Now this was in March, but Germany only announced it on Wednesday. The timing was obviously important. Germany did not want to create panic. They didn't want to disrupt the process of converting the LNG terminal into a fully operational site. But the damage has already been done. Experts say Russia could have sabotaged the terminal. Cyber attacks and sabotage are different. One requires technical expertise, the other is personal. It involves a human element. This makes sabotage difficult to detect. You cannot monitor every single employee, every single contractor, and this increases the risk of failure. When we talk about critical infrastructure, we're talking about power plants, gas terminals, water treatment facilities, airports, railway networks, and telecom towers. Sabotage at such sites could be catastrophic. Even a small disruption could have cascading effects. Power plants could go offline, gas supplies could be cut, there could be widespread blackouts, and it's not just the physical damage, the economic impact could be devastating. So what should European states do? First, they must invest in foolproof cyber defenses. Critical infrastructure must be protected from both cyber and physical attacks. And those assets include not just power stations, but also telecom networks and internet exchanges. Any disruption to these services could be exploited by Russia to spread chaos. Secondly, there is a need for information sharing. European countries must coordinate their response. That means sharing intelligence, coordinating raids, and joint investigations. Finally, there is a need for international cooperation. We're not just talking about NATO or the European Union. You need to engage countries outside the alliance, especially those that have experience combating disinformation, countries like India. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos like this.